sound that shakes the ground. The sound that shakes the ground.
Welcome back to Elite Championship Series, everyone. Now, day before yesterday, we got done with our epic rematch of the finals, Jaeger's Esports against Lions Creed. That was the Majors division, but now today, right now, we bring to you the Contenders division, play day number 3 of the Contenders division. You know, we only have one best of one planned today, but it's going to be a banger. I'm CCV, joined alongside Toot, and well, how are you feeling today?
Feeling very good, thank you, CCV. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Well, certainly is a pleasure. You know, we get to see a lot of teams, and these teams, you know, they've made their initial impressions on everyone. They've played a couple of games, a couple of maps here and there, a few losses, a few victories, but now is the time where we are heading into the middle stages, and the middle stages is where things can either slow down or you can just keep on maintaining that lead. In a case of a few teams, you know, and this goes over all divisions, you know, majors, contenders, and open, or each and every single one of the teams. If you have the early lead, if you have won your first, you know, your primary 3-4 games, and you can keep building upon those, the lead can be substantial and can be very difficult for your opponents to play catch up with you. And well, that's exactly what we'll be seeing today. Our first and only matchup is going to be Hedgehog Peak, up against Team Unknown. Now, these teams, these players, they've played in Elite Championship Series for quite a few seasons. I even remember them back when it used to be called EEG. So, yeah, these teams, you know, these players, they've been gone round. They've had a couple of roster changes, but they're completely new here. I mean, in this season, they have played a few games. They won quite a few of them. And now I have to see them, what exactly will they cook up today? So, you know, we have our teams in front of us. But before we talk about the teams as well, before we jump into the game, take us through the map bans today as well.
So sure, if we can bring the map bans up on the screen, we can see that we had 2 auto bans, which were Cafe and Consulate. We then got Oregon and Coastline taken out, along with Clubhouse and Chalet, and we are going to be playing Villa tonight, which is going to be good. It makes a change to not be doing Cafe or Oregon. I'd secretly hope to be doing a little bit of Chalet, but Villa, I'll take Villa any day of the week. It's a good map to watch, good map to play, so looking forward to seeing how this one's going to play out between these two teams.
Absolutely, no, Villa, I mean, I've said this a lot of times, but Villa is one of those maps that you see just the right amount of. You don't see a lot of Villa, but at the same time, you know, you don't see very little Villa as well, much like is the case with Chalet and Coastline. You know, those are the maps that, I mean, you just said you want to see, and so do I. I really want to see a lot of Coastline. I also want to see a Chalet game, but yeah, with Villa, I enjoy that. Speaking of these teams, speaking of these players as well, I've got confirmation that the match is ready. great. The players are almost about to begin. So let's just have a quick look, at the players of both the teams. For the side of Hedgehog Peak, we've got Tonic, we've got Yogaiser, we've got Enk. Now, these are the 3 players I've highlighted because I remember them from the past seasons. If I'm talking about Tonic, now this guy, he plays a load of operators. This man, he plays a ton of operators. I've seen him play Jaeger, I've seen him play hard support in terms of smoke and mute. He also, frequently plays the flex role with Melusi and Mozzie. So this guy plays everything, and I have to see which role he picks today, or which, roles he picks today in terms of, plural roles. Whereas for Yogaiser, I'm not really sure which country he is from. I think he is British because, the only operators he plays are British. I've seen him play a lot of smoke, a lot of mute. On attack as well, he plays SAS, he plays Sledge, he plays Thatcher. So, again, the games I have is from the previous season. It's from the winter season of the Elite Championship Series, the one that took place prior to this one. But still, I hope it's recent data. I hope that it's relevant data for these players as well. And if it's not, if these players have changed their roles, if these players are, mixing and matching in terms of their operator compositions and their lineups, I still have to see that is it going to be successful. So far, in terms of success, if you look at Team Hedgehog, it's been good enough for them. They played their first map, round number 1, on the map of Oregon against Mouse Place. They lost 7-8. It was a very close game. However, they only got 1 point. Whereas Team Unknown, they've been looking strong. I think they won their first game. Yep, it was on Villa as well. It was 7-3. So they won their first game. That was against Team Frosty. Game number 2 for Team Unknown, that was a loss against Humble Academy. So both these teams, they've had a couple of losses, a couple of wins, and now that puts him in this middle ground. So Toot, I think, it would be quite obvious, it's a rhetorical question that this game is important for them. However, I guess I just have to ask you, in terms of predictions, do you have any one team that may leap out of their opponents in this matchup?
I'm going to be honest, based on what I've seen so far, I think I'm probably going to hedge my bets towards Team Unknown. I love the name Hedgehog Peak. I'd love to see them take a win here just for the creativity of the name of their team. But Team Unknown have been doing very well so far. They're currently 2nd place in the standings, with Hedgehog being down at number 6. But they've both got 1 win and 1 loss to their name. The points, it's all down to round differentials, putting Team Unknown up there. So it seems like, on paper at least, they're the stronger team. So I'm going to back them. I'm going to back them here tonight, I think.
All right then. So Team Unknown, yet again. I talked about the roster of Hedgehog Peak, talking about Team Unknown as well. There are only 2 names that primarily stand out to me. One is going to be Koved and the other is going to be Mats. And yet again, I know a little bit, itsy bitsy bit about these players. However, it's been a long time. The operators I've seen, the games I remember from their side, it's a couple of months old. It's like January and February. So it's been a while, but yet, as far as I can remember, I believe Koved, oh Jesus, I think he was the Jaeger main, but I'm not too sure. Whereas for Mats, I've completely forgotten. I've blacked out. I know he used to play for Jaeger's Academy, but then he switched in the previous season, in the winter season, and now he's in Team Unknown. So a lot of roster changes have happened for this lad, and let's see that if this is the roster he'll find eternal peace in, if this is the roster he finds success in. Let's hope it is, and let's hope it's going to be a great game yet again. I think we're about to start. So I think the fine thing, that is there is, I guess, my predictions, and I'm going to be honest. I think, Toot, I'm with you on this one. I think we can give it to Team Unknown purely because they played Villa once. That was against Team Frosty. They won it 7-3, and I guess they have a couple of. I guess they have a little bit of an advantage over their opponents, but that's enough. To take us through the operator bans, take us through which operators you think will be banned and played.
Sure. So I think for a starting point, you pretty much always see Thatcher get taken out of play, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that here. Ace is a good pick. Obviously very strong for taking control of Vault and pushing through the gaming room side when players play Aviator in games. Very strong operator for this map, and also very good for taking trophy and statuary from the master bedroom. So great to get him out of play. It's going to make things very interesting. And there is that Thatcher ban as predicted, which is going to make things a little bit more challenging. Now, Wamai, that's an interesting one. It's not often that you see Wamai get taken out of play on Villa. It's not It's not something that never happens, but it's just not something that happens regularly. I'm interested in why they would take him out of play over more classic operators such as, well, I say classic, I mean, Rooney's getting a lot of play at the moment, but I guess Unknown wants a player, and Valkyrie is always a great pick just due to the intel. As the top floor sites are the most popular sites for this map, Valkyrie is a great pick to have to set up key black eyes to watch for when the players are in key positions on the map, and then you just toss a C4 from down below and take them out of play. And that's something that's very common here on this map. Now, if you don't do it with Valkyrie, you're going to do it with Pulse, but Valkyrie is the more common pick for this map, so it just makes more sense to take her out of play, I feel, at this point.
Clash, come on, don't six-pick Rocky, come on, I swear to God.
We want the Clash plays.
No,
Oh, she's
no.
out. She's out.
Well, that's a big blow. That's a big blow to morale, I'd say. Oh man, that hits. It feels like what can be said? Okay, never mind. But yeah, all jokes about, looking at the operator composition so far, we see the pulsing yet again too, just like what you were highlighting about verticality and the aspect of C4s, the aspect of vertical lines of sight that are certainly going to play a very vital and a very pivotal role in this entire matchup, and especially on a map like Villa. Villa is one of those maps where I think verticality plays a large factor in almost all of the bomb sites, whether it is second floor aviators, second floor trophy and statuary, even the first floor tertiary bomb sites, they also see a ton of vertical gameplay, and I guess that's also what the attackers may be highlighting towards. We see Jules playing the sledge, we also have Yogaiser playing the gridlock with her secondary shotgun, not to mention Enk, again on the Ash main, he has his breaching charges and his breaching rounds, so a lot of utility that can be utilized towards that vertical gameplay is being brought out from the attackers, and I expect nothing less of them. I want them to get that map control, and only from that point forward can they start getting their execute ready, and only from that point forward can they start preparing to kill all of the defenders. But that's where the retaliation comes up from Team Unknown. We see Rocky playing the Pulse, six picking cheekily from the Clash to the FBI operator. We also have Vinko with the mute and another C4 on board for the defenders. So two C4s, they can deal a lot of havoc for them, and not to mention the rumors that are present in the form of Mats playing the Ella, who is aware of a sister's presence coming towards landing, and well, the attackers as well. So it goes both ways, and we may start to see some gunfights take place as Enk is about to enter the bomb site. He is currently in mud room.
Yes, very important, obviously, top floor presence here from the defenders. Now, there's one of two ways that typically people will approach this. The first one is the top floor take, which is what we're seeing now, with the second one being a straight push up pantry stairs with maybe a bit of a pinch coming from laundry. But it's good to see that Team Unknown are taking the initiative here, playing up the top, and they do manage to get two quick picks as a couple of the key attackers are get taken out of play. Now, Zofia very strong for making that entry in the last 20 seconds or so, but the key player for the top floor is still on the board, which is Sledge, and he's going to be responsible for opening up a lot of holes above the site to push the defenders out of position. Now, we've seen Corved take a whole load of damage here, but he is still playing upstairs on the top floor to make sure he keeps those attackers back. And there is that one key C4 coming out from Pulse, as we talked about at the start of the game. That's going to get another pick, putting Team Unknown right in the driving seat with 2 minutes gone and 1 minute left on the board. They are currently in a 4 versus 2, and they've got, how many drones have they got left? They've got 6 drones left in their pocket to get all the intel they need, but Julie, playing on Sledge, is the last player standing and will only have 2 drones to use herself. Now, the question is, are we going to get drones or face checking everything? It looks like there is just going to be a push straight onto site here coming out from Sledge, as Rocky knows exactly where that player is. The yellow pings are going to go out, but Sledge just holding, waiting for the defenders to get a little bit aggressive and start to peek. And then at the last moment, as Julie tries to push into the site, Noxie just playing there, standing up on the top of this little unit, just holding that angle, waiting for the inevitable push. It's not face checked by Julie, and that Sledge taken out of play. And that's a very convincing win there for the defensive team, with a great top floor hold, completely denying that vertical destruction for most of the round, and just forcing the attackers into pushing the site solo.
It certainly is. It was very good, defensive setup coming from the side of Team Unknown, I gotta say. And I think the key point that I had to highlight was their roam, the initial primary roam with Mats playing the Ella, and I think it was, oh yes, it was curved with the Melusi as well. They got two kills in quick succession, at roughly the 1 minute 50-second mark. So the attackers, they were just done with the second floor map control. They had entered from Aviator, entered from Games Room. They got long haul control, they got 90 control. But when they started pushing for the vertical control, when they started entering Statuary and Trophy, that's where it collapsed. That's where those two kills really favored Team Unknown. And they only suffered one casualty. If we have a look at the scoreboard right now, the only person who has died is Mats, who was playing the Ella, quite literally the forefront of the defense of Team Unknown right there. And again, him dying, that was just a very, very small thing. It was quite inconsequential to the team because they had done the job. The roamers had done their job. Cobb, after playing the Melusi, you highlighted how little he was on HP. Even after all that, he made his way back into the bomb site safe and sound, and well, he lived for the entirety of the round, and he's still right here with 0 deaths on his pallet. And I gotta say that, yeah, the entirety of Team Unknown, whether it was the anchors, although the anchors didn't have to play a big part in that entire setup, they were just there for the final seconds. I think it was more to do with the roamers and how they completely stopped, they completely halted the attackers dead in their tracks, but it was executed perfectly. And these are the kind of setups, this is the kind of execution I expect to see from teams such as Unknown and even Hedgehog Peak. But I've got to say, it's just been the first round, so I guess it's too early to call, it's too early to judge, but that was a bit of a lackluster performance from them. Enk, he got 1 kill, but that's it. He got rid of the Ella. He wasn't able to get any follow-up kills. This man is playing the Ash, and yeah, they have a lot of information. Even right now, we are only 45 seconds into the action phase, but yet again, only 6 drones remain. Still, plenty of information. You have the Jackal to clear out the roamers. You have hard breachers. You also have plenty of utility, but you have to act on all of that, and that is where Hedgehog Peak may fall short. If they start pushing angles that they don't really want to, uncomfortable angles, they can die much like the previous round, but only time can tell what happens with the attackers.
Yeah, this is a very interesting extended hold coming out here from Team Unknown. They're defending Aviator in games, but they've gone as far as reinforcing castle, barricading up the master bedroom and statue to really make sure that the attackers have used up as much utility as possible before they manage to get over to the actual site. We can see that Jaeger is going to play the common position here on 90, but start to push his way a little bit down the classical hall as the 90 window does get opened up from below. That's going to apply a fair bit of pressure for him and pretty much make it so that he just can't go back onto 90, which will allow the likes of Jackal, for example, to come in, pinpoint his footsteps, and allow the rest of his team to focus on pushing Jaeger back to site and getting him out of play as much as they can. They'll then want to get this full wall open. That's what the likes of Hibana is going to be there for. The only hard breacher currently in play here from the attackers of Hedgehog Peak, as we do see Mats claim that first life. So already we do see Team Unknown going 1 player up, taking control of this round, as Sledge is going to take a load of damage as well. We've got the top of the vault wall open, getting ready to chuck a grenade in to make sure that there's no one playing behind there to deny this wall from getting open. The only thing on the other side of that vault wall is going to be a frag grenade. But as Sledge goes to chuck that grenade down the classical hall to take out the player at the top of the main stairs, he is taken out, which is a huge pick. And Mats gets another one with Ash going down as well, leaving Tonic as the last player standing. And yet again, we see... Well, they can finish the round off before I can even get the words out. We don't just see a 4 versus 1, we see a 5 versus 1. As Hedgehog Peak, against our predictions, are looking very, very dominating here and taking complete control, as the attackers are just looking a little bit lost.
Yeah, I mean, that was a classic example of, just losing your gunfights. I don't think it could have been more clearer than that. And I gotta say that, yeah, there wasn't much to be said about the round. The initial strategic play from Team Unknown was good. Them burning all the utility, the reinforcements, the castle barricades, the pseudo roam setup, as I like to call. No defenders were playing inside of Trophy and Statue. No one was right there. However, they still wasted a lot of time, manpower, and utility of the attackers, which is always good, especially in a game such as Rainbow Six Siege, where time wastage is very vital to you as a defender. But that's not my highlight? My highlight just has to be the kills. My highlight has to be the gunfights that both of these teams indulged in, and more importantly, that Team Unknown won. Because to be fair, I'm expecting more from the side of Hedgehog Peak. You know, it's been 2 entire rounds, and you have only one single gunfight. Only won a single gunfight. Yeah, again, I have to highlight that. Once again, you know, I have to speak it again because it's just a statistic that it just amazes you how well and how brilliantly Team Unknown are playing, and because of that, Hedgehog, they're falling short a bit. You know, they're not up to mark. They are certainly underperforming right here. So I need to see more from their side, and I guess everyone needs to. You know, they have good players. They are going for nice executes. They're going the traditional way of Siege. You know, you get map control. For example, let's take this bomb site as an example. You know, the objective is towards the northern side of the map. It is going to be Trophy and Shashri. The attackers are getting control of the adjacent rooms. You know, they're getting control of bedroom, bathroom. They're even going to go for a drone clear later on, and they also have a few drones towards the first floor to prevent any cheeky C4s and to prevent any late room flanks. And I think they have spotted Rocky alongside Noxy playing on 1F, and I think they may try to get rid of those pesky roamers if they want to. But still, strategically, Hedgehog Peak are doing everything good, but can they capitalize on those gunfights? Still, they haven't gone for any of that. They haven't gone for any roam clear. They haven't gone to clear out any utility. Looks like it's just going to be a direct site attack. And well, I'm interested to see how this pans out because I'm not sure what the result of this round may be.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most common ranked ways to push this site, is basically just taking control of Master, getting that wall open, and then trying to just get your way into the site and sticking that diffuser down, and then covering it from the windows or from the Master bedroom. So nothing particularly outstanding coming out here from the attack, or necessarily from the defense. There isn't a huge crazy setup. It's a very standard rank setup. We've got 2 players down below playing that deep roam game. But already, we're halfway into the round and the attackers are just falling like flies yet again. There doesn't seem to be much they can do against the gunpowder of these defenders. We have seen Rocky take a fair bit of damage as he makes his way up that Astro staircase to get his way into sight and hold this down from the attackers as they start to push in. We still have Tonic on the board with the single hard breach, but that wall just isn't going to get opened up because of all the electricity. Now, finally, we do see the attackers winning gunfights as 2 players from Team Unknown are taken out of play, and that starts to address the balance of the man count for once in this matchup, as we see a 3 versus 2 now, with Jewel just playing a sledge, laying here, waiting for Mozzie to peek. And the question, Siege timing. That's probably exactly the moment that Mozzie decided to peek. It's always when you run away, that's when the player peeks. Now we are going to get 2 players stacking up here on the bathroom door, going into Astro. Default cam is still up, spotting both of them there. And these 2 guys are just fighting to get into this room, not knowing really what to do. But we are going to get a big flank come out from Mozzie there as he does take down the sledge from behind, leaving Tonic all on his own as Hibana. Gas grenades are going to go down to slow down a push through that split doorway. But with the Org A3 of Kaid there, we see no fear as he just walks up to that hole, peeks through and says, "Hey, fancy a bullet in the face?" And he delivers, and that is another round going to Team Unknown at the end of round 3, as they are flawless right now with the 3-0, and are going to go back to Dining Room and Kitchen, the very first site that they played, because it's just become unlocked.
Well, now that they've completed their objective rotation, I guess I presume that the attackers would have some sense of clarity on how they want to attack this objective, and I think they do. You know, Buckeye, sorry, you guys, we are seeing him play Buck. Oh no, he's going to 6-pick to the Nomad. But I get, oh no, more importantly, from the Pulse, it's now down to a clash. Let's go. Come on, lads. All right, so I make a proposal that we just spectate the clash for the entirety of the... No, I'm just kidding. We may expect some clash plays. It's a very small possibility. Like, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure. I mean, if I'm being honest, Hedgehog Peak may win the round rather than Winko getting an ace, but I'm sure he can land a few kills. But again, all jokes aside, I think he'll be vital in slowing down the attack, because I think that's something that Team Unknown may want, especially on the second floor, because that's where Hedgehog Peak strike hard quite early on. The second floor is their map control. You know, they clear out the roamers, they wait to get statutory and trophy control, and once they have gotten the control of that side, they start with the vertical play. They have everything under their control, or well, they hope to do, because the previous time we saw them attacking, well, it didn't really end in their favor. It was a 4v0. The only person surviving was, I think, Yule on the sledge, but apart from that, yeah, there wasn't really anything left for the attackers. So let's hope. We do see the Clash on the second floor alongside Rocky playing the Melusi. So the Clash may play a small role here alongside Melusi's Banshee in this crowd control of sorts, and slowing down the attackers, especially from the Aviator side of things. And well, I guess this is enough of the Clash. Let's see where the attackers are spawning from. I believe they're coming from Aviator side only. I think they're coming from the southern side of the map, and from there they'll try to get. Okay, so I don't think we're switching off the Clash at all. I'm not sure how to feel about that, but I'm not really sure how the attackers will deal with that as well. Yet again, Vinko is the front line of the defense. He is a magnet of sorts. He knows where the attackers are pushing from, and he will get the control. He spots the Ash right there, informing his team that, okay, everyone's coming from the southern side. They're attempting to take master control. Be aware. And Rocky's present on second floor as well to try and slow down the Nomad, try and slow down the Ash. And we've got to see how this pans out for, well, both the attackers and the defenders.
The key thing here for the attackers is going to be the use of Nomad and Zofia. Obviously, both of these operators are huge counters to Clash. We did just see one air jab get sucked up by that ADS right in front of Clash right now. So that's one air jab that won't be knocking Clash on her butt. But they do have one air jab left and 2 lifelines that could allow this Clash to get taken out of play. We're going to see Ash just repelling on that window up the top, keeping a hold there. But as long as Clash is in this doorway, although we have seen Hedgehog Peak get the laundry wall open, and it does look they are committing heavily to a laundry take here. We're seeing pretty much no one pushing anything upstairs. It looks like it's going to be a pure laundry and memorial take coming out from the attackers. Clash just standing in this doorway and this breach is going to cause some headaches for the attackers as they try to take her out of play. We can see that the last air jab has actually been spent, and that isn't going to be what takes Clash down. So they're going to be relying on those lifelines from Zofia, who's going to need to start pushing her way towards that laundry. Now we do see a sledge coming in there from the bicycle storage, managing to get that one early pick, and looking through that hole in the wall, perfectly lined up to get another one, but doesn't manage to take that kill, as Rocky upstairs is doing loads of work for his team, taking down 2 players, with Matt's taking down 1 down below, and all of a sudden the attackers not being able to do their job, even though spending a fair bit of time focusing on that Clash. They do manage to get all of their players killed, and again, a 4 versus 1. It seems that Hedgehog Peak here just don't really know how to peak. They're not winning their gunfights. They're not really spending their utility too wisely. It's not going well for Hedgehog right now, and it's looking like Team Unknown, if they carry on the way they are, they're going to get a 6-0 at the end of this half. And Hedgehog are going to be relying on just managing to bring it back in the second half when they switch over.
I'm not really sure. I may try to... I may try to provide an analytical point of view of the previous round, but then again, Clash was played, so most likely, as the chat said, EBAC will be personally WOD reviewing this on stream, and I am going to be excited to watch. After all, the Clash Master will review this play coming from the up-and-coming team, so I have to say, what criticism he has to offer. But then again, yeah, I have to agree with you on the point of the gunfights. Hedgehog Peak, they're not winning those 1v1s at all. I mean, looking at the kill count so far, Tonic on a single kill. Enk is on 1 kill, and this guy, come on. I mean, I still remember one of the play days from the past season where he dropped a 16-17 kill bomb. I think it was the map of Coastline. Unfortunately, I don't remember against which team. Against which team, but he got a lot of kills. So for him as an Ash main, as an entry main, to be underperforming so badly, I think, yeah, that's one of the things that I'm not really sure what's happening for the side of Hedgehog Peak. Even Princessa Olu, or however it's pronounced, with 1 kill only as a Zofia main, I'm not really sure what's going on. And I guess another person to highlight is going to be Yogaiser. Yeah, he has 0 kills, but more importantly, his operator selection. We have seen 5 total rounds play out, and in all 5 of them, he has played a different operator. He started off round 1, he played the Gridlock, followed by the Jackal, followed by the Nomad, followed by the Iana, followed by the Nomad, and now he's playing the Twitch. And that is just confusing, plain confusing. That signifies that there's no real strategy to what they're trying here, I guess. I mean, with the Twitch, I do understand, you know, with almost all of the operators, I do understand their theory. With the Twitch, you want to get rid of the Jaeger ADSs, you maybe want to get rid of some of the, some of the Melusi Banshees as well, you know, maybe disable them. With the Jackal, you want to hunt down the Roamers, etc., etc., but still, it hasn't panned out. He has 0 kills, more importantly. And well, yet again, there's another kill going in favor of Team Unknown. It's a very, very heavy study push, and they've already suffered a small consequence of that. Your sledge is gone. Your only source of frag grenades for this round. Die with him.
Yeah, I was going to say on the topic of kills, I mean, it's good to see at least Hedgehog Peak are being consistent with 1 and 4 each, except for your Geyser, who's on 0 and 4. So they're all at least working very similarly as a team when it comes to their fragging ability. Now, although we see Hedgehog Peak go down 1 man and be left in a 5 versus 4, we can see that 2 players from Team Unknown have actually dropped to around about half health, which is going to help when it comes to those gunfights as we close towards the end of this round. Now, your Geyser does take a fair bit of damage as he does get into a gunfight, along with Ash, who has lost a load of health as well and is on 20 HP. So any health advantage that Hedgehog Peak had has now gone out of the window, as we're going to see Jaeger playing up close on that doorway into sight, waiting for a player to peek in. It doesn't look like the attackers are particularly good at using drones. Their drone economy has been very, very poor. They've only got 3 left, which has been very, very common in this matchup so far, and they don't seem to be droning in these later moments of the rounds, just peeking around, trying to use utility for common clears, but they're just not looking the right way, and they're just getting shot in the back, in the side. They're doing everything except putting bullets into bodies themselves. And as I say that, Tonic does the first thing that no one else on his team has managed to do, and that is get 2 kills. So well played to him, as he's going to bounce in using that bearing 9. He knows there's a player by that doorway, and he does take down a second. That's the double kill for Tonic, leaving him in a 3 versus 1. Melusi goes for that aggressive peek, and she's going to get taken down, but she's not going to get finished off, as Matt's playing at the top of red stairs on Mozzie is going to spot his teammate in trouble. He's going to push in and take advantage of that urge that Hibana had to finish off that kill, rather than look at what else was around us. So a much better effort there coming out from Tonic, all on his own, but it's still not good enough. It was impactless frags, as we see Team Unknown going 5-0 up. And that scoreboard does not look good. Does not look good for Hedgehog Peak right now.
8-1. He has a KD of 8. 8-2 as well, KD of 4. These guys, they've died only once. Wow, okay. I mean, yeah, with the exception of Mats, but that's about it. And yeah, I gotta say, unfortunately, Hedgehog Peak, I mean, there's only one major point you can talk about right now, and I think there's only one major overarching storyline of this entire game. That is, well, Team Unknown sadly cannot win their gun. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Hedgehog Peak, unfortunately, cannot win their gunfights. They're constantly losing them. So I'm not really certain, I'm not really sure will that improve once they head on to their defense. They still have another round left to play, and if they lose this one as well, that's match point for your opponents in a best of 1 as well. I mean, it's looking a bit peak, you know, it's not looking all too well for your side, and I gotta say, these guys, them man, they gotta start doing something. That's all. I mean, at this point, you know, I don't think anyone's sure what to expect out of their roster. You know, I don't think anyone's expecting flawless rounds, but at the same time, a few kills would be helpful for their side. Previous round, it was all down to Tonic. You know, he was stuck in a 5v1. Sure, he got a couple of kills and 1 down, but not out. But well, that's about it. Apart from that, nothing conclusive. His entire team died. That study take was complete, well, not to be very, very harsh, but it was a failure. You know, there wasn't anything conclusive out of that. So I gotta say, this case as well, it's looking a little more positive for their side. They're droning in. They still have all of their drones remaining for their side, but they've got to start taking gunfights. They've got to start indulging in them, and that's where we see Rocky. He's holding a very cheeky angle towards the study entrance as the Jaeger, and he's just looking out for the entrance of the attackers. And oh, now he's fallen back towards landing to meet up alongside Maestro. He's still holding that passive angle towards study entrance, so we can expect him to engage in some gunfights, and especially with Yule, you know, just being prone and peeking this angle silently. I think the attackers are also aware that there's someone aggressively Enkul, I mean, all of the attackers now, they've made their way inside of Aviator, inside of Games Room. They have a little bit of map control, but they still got to go for those gunfights, and that's where Hedgehog Peak have been failing for the failing in the previous rounds. So that's where they have to improve on. A minute and 45 on the clock, still nothing conclusive has been made. 7 drones remaining. C4 has been blasted from below, I believe, and Jackal is going for the roam clear. You know, we can see you guys are on 1F trying to hunt any and all roamers, but so far, yet again, that's also, you know, not conclusive enough. And now we may start seeing the actual execute. Enk, the forefront of the attack. Let's see what magic he can brew.
We're seeing some good use of utility coming out from Hedgehog Peak right now. They've taken down 2 Banshees, effectively using Ash and Zofia, allowing them to push towards the site a little bit more aggressively without being hampered by that speed hindrance. Though we are going to see Zofia take a gunfight and lose a fair bit of health, but not quite as much as Ugeiser, that roam clearer who has fallen unfortunately and is going to end this round on 0-6 when it comes to his KD. Not where anybody wants to be. But on the plus side for Hedgehog Peak, with 1 minute to go, they have got a kill themselves on the board, which means that they are currently 4 versus 4. Now, I don't know if it's known, but Zofia is right outside this doorway and on cams. Just one quick peek from smoke with that shotgun there would see him get taken down. He's going to turn around to look at that drone as Zofia is just going to push aggressively in, but with that 2-time sight on the gun, that make him look a little bit too far and not see that smoke is right there by the bomb chassis. And Tonic yet again is the last man standing as Noxie takes down 2 players very, very quickly, as Corved is going to get revived, and it is a 4 versus 1 with Tonic outside with 15 seconds to go, 2 stun grenades and a gun to do what she needs to do. She's going to get 1 kill, but she's going to take a whole load of damage from Finko with that powerful shotty. And did he jump out or did he just look through the window? I think he just looked through the window. Oh no, he just laid down and waited, and she came running in. And that's a clean sweep for Team Unknown as they take the first 6 rounds, losing no more than 2 players in any single round, I think. That's an incredible achievement.
Pretty much. Yeah. More importantly, yeah, I mean, again, we're talking gunfights. Out of the 6 rounds, in terms of initial gunfights, they won 5 of them. Only in round 4 did we see Yule killing Corv, you know, and even that was quite late actually, at roughly the 45-second mark. If you're talking about the gunfights that Team Unknown won, and you know that they engaged in, it was at the 1 minute, and 45-second mark, sometimes even the 1 minute 15 seconds. So, you know, halfway into the round, nearing the half stage, whereas the attackers, the only time they won the gunfight was quite late, you know, actually nearing the execute as well. But apart from that, the side swap has happened. Morale is low for the side of Hedgehog Peak. The chances and the probability of winning them are similarly low as well. However, they can still do something. If not win, you may go into overtime. Again, overtime is also a big shout. I'm not quite confident enough that we'll go to an overtime. If we do, well then something has happened. A miracle would have taken place for Hedgehog Peak. But more importantly, I guess you can win a few of those round wins. You know, you can get a bit of that tally in your favor, because yet again, Contenders division, it is a league structure, you know. You have the Swiss style of play. You play against all of the opponents, and then because of that, you know, points and more importantly round wins, round losses, round differential, that plays a major factor in your overall standings. And now that we are nearing towards the middle stages of the Swiss system as well, with this being played in number 3, I guess you can get a few round wins, and I guess that's exactly what Hedgehog Peak will be looking for. They see one person, they see a few of the attackers, you know, coming from below. They got the drone, they got the cam, it was live, so they have information. However, will they act on it just yet? They have been a bit afraid to take gunfights. Whenever they do, especially these early gunfights, well, 5 out of 6 times it doesn't go in their favor so far from what we've seen. But in this case, looks like Team Unknown, they're in a bit of a hurry. They're also attempting a study take. However, they're going from first floor. They want to clear library stairs out, and more importantly, the player inside of library stairs, on the library stairs, however, maybe a bit tough. Corved has been spotted from above by the maestro. Will be, oh no, I think that's you guys are playing the smoke. Will be tagged just a bit, but he falls back. And well, all of the attackers and all of the defenders, more importantly, are in good condition so far. Yet another frag grenade, this time thrown won't be successful, and Kov will just have to rely on his Gemini replicators and also on his team drones to get some information and well to act on that information, as well as the attackers. They are getting desperate. We can see Rocky and Mats trying to kill the defenders. However, nothing has come of it just yet. We only now may see the attackers pushing up towards library stairs.
This is a very interesting push coming out from this team. It's not very often you see a team so fully dedicated to just making their way up this staircase without really going to anywhere else. We are going to see Mats continuing to take people down by shooting them in the head, whereas Tonic, being the only one really doing any fragging work on his team right now, is going to pick up an equalizer there. But yeah, you don't often see so many teams or teams just so dedicated to this staircase. They don't even really have a huge hard breach to make their way into the games room. Ideally, you'd want to open up the wall by the bar with a thermite or an ace and just push your way in, plant behind the bomb, plant behind the bar rather. But they don't have the utility to do that, especially now that Hibana has been taken out of play. But for the first time, we can actually see Hedgehog Peak do have a man advantage in this matchup, and it is a 3 versus 2 as Jewel takes down 1, leaving Rocky all on his own as Ash. And this could be the first round that we are going to see get picked up here by Hedgehog Peak as Ash enters a gunfight with one of the players there sitting in study, who is going to fall back into sight and team up with his friends and just wait for Rocky to start to push his way in. Now, Kaid is going to sit here on this doorway with the orb just sitting, waiting patiently. And he's going to whiff his shots. He's going to pull out that pistol and somehow... Oh, I thought he'd actually got the hip fire kill, but it wasn't. It was his teammate behind him playing on Jaeger, shooting him through the doorway. So well played there to Hedgehog for picking up a round and putting one on the board at last. This is a more defender-sided map, so it's no big surprise to see Hedgehog Peak picking up a round. The question is, will they be able to get another 5 to push it to overtime? It's a huge mental battle that they've got lying ahead of them. It's not impossible. We've just seen Team Unknown get 6 in a row, so Hedgehog Peak could do it. But it's a huge mental battle. So let's see what they've got as Hedgehog Peak head over to Trophy and Statuary.
Well, we see Trophy and Statuary, yet another primary bomb site for the defenders, yet another chance for them to maybe get one more round on board. But yeah, to just like you said, how many will Hedgehog Peak be able to get? Overtime still a very small possibility. They still have to win 5 consecutive rounds, and even in overtime, things may not be things may not still be completely confirmed for them. It's not like overtime is going to be a magical place, kind of like Alice in the Wonderland. Yes, you will be running around a lot and you will be kind of lost, but at the end of the day, victory may not be yours. Kind of Hedgehog Peak, I assume Team Unknown still have good chances of winning, and I still have my money on them. I still think that they can win. All they have to do essentially is win another round. If not this one on Trophy and Statuary, then the tertiary bomb site is going to be quite easy for them. Looking at the operator composition so far, I don't think it has changed at all. Yes, the operator composition is the same for the attackers. You have Rocky on the Ash, Winkles playing the Hibana, and everyone is on the same operator composition. So we can best believe that once the next round rolls around, if it does, on Kitchen and Dining, we will expect the same 5 operators, and yeah, they'll go for the vertical gameplay. You have Ash, you have Sledge, you even have Zofia with her breaching charges, so a lot can happen. The hatch can be opened as well, even though there's only one hard breacher, so the safety of the hard breacher is vital, and in this case the safety of the roamer is also vital, as well as Yule takes a lot of damage. And again, you don't want to see an opening casualty as a defender. We saw that in the previous round. Yes, you did one round in your favor and you did turn it completely around, but still I best assume that Hedgehog Peak, they don't want to die early on, much like they have been for the previous few engagements that they have taken early on. So I guess keeping all of that in mind, yet again, it's a very slow round. The attackers just totally making their way through. They get the opening pick, and oh well, wouldn't you know it, the defender, the roamer, Yule is gone.
Yeah, it's becoming all too common seeing a member of Hedgehog Peak being the first player to fall. I am excited to see a Rooney coming out to play here from Hedgehog Peak. We didn't see it from Team Unknown. We saw a bit more of a typical composition. Oh! As Noxy just vaults his way into sight and gets shut down immediately by Malusi there, who's also going to hold back that player on the bedroom window and then drop back downstairs to keep that player guessing and to keep those drones working. So a great play there from Hedgehog Peak, as that is the job of Aroma quite often, is just to keep the attackers at bay and waste their time just as much as it is to get kills. But at the same time, Malusi managing to get those picks to help whittle down the enemy team and make his team stronger. Now we are in a 3 versus 2. We are going to get an impact trick coming out there from Tonic, and it sounded like that was successful, but I'm not 100% sure. Didn't get to see that wall exactly. No, that wall is opened up. So it did not manage to trick that X-Kairos, as we do see the first attempt at a plant now. This is the first attempt that we've actually seen at a plant from either of these two teams. But Malusi, again, coming up from Astro Stairs, does manage to get a pick and take down one player, leaving him in a 1 versus 3, I think it was, or a 1 versus 2. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, 1 versus 2.
1 versus 2, but manages to take down that last player as well. And that's another round on the board for Hedgehog Peak, and it's starting to look a little bit more promising for them and showing that they aren't out for the count yet. Now, they're not winning these rounds quite as dominantly as we saw Team Unknown winning their attack rounds, but they're still looking a lot better on defense than they looked on attack, that's for sure.
They certainly are. Oh, absolutely. You know, looking at how they've been performing so far, I gotta say that, yeah, Hedgehog Peak, they are performing better, and they can now, I mean, I think they have the newfound confidence that they were looking for all along in order to win those rounds, and, well, it is proving good for their side. Now we move on to round number 3. We move off the second half. We move on to the first tertiary bomb site, and I believe the only tertiary bomb site we'll be witnessing on this defense of Hedgehog Peak. And well, they have doubled down on one major strategy, which is going to be, well, C4s. 4 C4s brought out from their side. We have Eng playing the Melusi, Princessa on the mute, Yule with the pulse as well, a very, very vital operator. And then you also have your guys playing the Mozzie. So I guess if they have so many C4s, then that begs the question, will we see a roam come out from their side? Will we see something along the lines of that? Because the only person without a C4 is Tonic, and he's playing the Maestro, and I don't think there's any chance he'll be the one roaming. So we may see a small form of roam. I guess Enk is the only person who will be indulging in that. He also has the support of Yogaiza, which yet again begs the question, if you're on second floor, why so many C4s? You know, Mozzie, C4 is fine. Melusi could have brought out the impacts, I guess, to try and impact trick the wall inside of bedroom. But then again, yeah, it's a bit peak. You know, I'm not really sure what the defenders are planning. Let's hope it works out for their side. I really want to see Hedgehog Peak, you know, try to make a comeback. I've said it countless times that Team Unknown are the favorites. I still believe that, but at the same time, you want to see the underdogs winning. So, with all that being said and done, half a minute into the action phase is over. It has passed, and the attackers, well, they're slowly making their way over the over to, you know, landing and trying to get control of Trophy and Statuary as well. And I gotta say that right now, yeah, they're taking things slow. Melusi's back on first floor, and yet again, who is on second floor? Is it just Yogaiza all alone? He only has 1 kill. But I don't think he is. Oh no, it's all a first floor take. It's a pseudo room once again from the side of Hedgehog Peak, and I think the attackers have realized that, and because of that, well, they're starting with their vertical play, and this is where the danger lies. They may start dropping deadlight flies anytime soon. Yule with his cardiac scanner looking out for all of the attackers, trying to see them. The C4s can play a pivotal role here, but only time will tell what happens.
Yeah, the challenge with playing Dining Room and Kitchen as your third site is that the attackers are always going to know that that's the site that you're playing. So we can see that the attackers have brought out pretty much every bit of utility they're going to need to apply pressure to Hedgehog from upstairs. We've got Sledge, and not only Sledge, but we've got 3 operators all bringing breaching charges. That's 9 breaching charges that they've got, plus a sledgehammer. That's a lot of vertical destruction that we're going to see coming out here from Team Unknown. We've seen 1 C4 get spent so far, but it was wasted as Rocky gets taken down by Melusi, playing downstairs at the bottom of red, and that leaves us still with 3 C4s on the board. to do some damage to these players upstairs as they try to move the anchors out of position using all of this vertical destruction that's in their hands. As Tonic, the top fragger for his team, is going to get down, but is he going to get revived? That's the big question. He looks like he's in a fairly safe spot, and he does get picked up by his teammate Pulse. As Belusi's going to hold this window here on the pantry stairs, but seeing the player isn't going to press it too hard and is going to play safely in this position right here in pantry. But Noxie is going to take down the first player to fall for Hedgehog Peak for the first time, pretty much. And the first player to die in a round actually wasn't someone from Hedgehog Peak, as Vinku does manage to claim 1 life. There is only 10 seconds to go, which means here that Team Unknown have to push heavily into sight. They managed to get a couple of kills, and Tonic is the last man standing yet again. But in the blink of an eye, Noxie just comes in, takes down Tonic. And before you can even call it, that's it. The round is over. Well played to Team Unknown. Not unexpected, but certainly didn't quite expect that scoreline.
7-2, but I gotta say that final few seconds, that final 5 seconds, I'd say, those were crazy.
Yeah,
I was really looking out at what's gonna happen, and it wasn't the best of performances coming from the side of Hedgehog Peak as well. And yeah, I gotta say a result that a result that the opponent's Team Unknown will certainly be looking for. I think before the game started too, you highlighted that in the current standings they were on the 2nd position, and now I think they might have secured position number 1. I am not confirming that, but at the same time I'll have to have a look for myself. I think they have. I think they have. Looking at the score, I think they have. But well, all that being said and done, I think that concludes our game as well. We were supposed to have our second game. If anyone in the audience is wondering, we were supposed to have game number 2, which was between Machine Gun. Oh, let me check the teams as well. Machine Soldiers Gaming, not Machine Gun Kelly. That's a pop. Okay, never mind. It was between Machine Soldiers and Bog Boys, but unfortunately Bog Boys had to forfeit. So that's a 7-0 victory for MSA. And well, that concludes our stream for today. So before we head over and before we end the stream, Toot, any concluding thoughts from your side?
Yeah, well, the only concluding thought is that Hedgehog Peak possibly need to work on their attacks. Certainly when it comes to Villa, Team Unknown, excuse me, Team Unknown just need to keep doing what they're doing, and I think they will very likely hold their top spot there in the standings.
Absolutely, I'm sure Team Unknown loves this right now, and I think a good result from their side as well. You know, they've played Villa 2 times, and they've won both of those times. One, a 7-3 victory against Team Frosty, and now a 7-2. So if any team in Contenders division is looking out for a possible fixture against Team Unknown, well, you may steer clear of Villa. Maybe a map you will be looking to avoid, or if you're brave enough, well, then we've got to see what it takes for Team Unknown to lose on that map. But well, that concludes Playday number 3 for the Contenders division here in the spring season of Elite Championship Series. Thank you all for watching. This has been the Real CCB alongside 2XP with Grissom and Shiro behind the scenes. And well, we'll catch you, I believe, next time. Till then, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yep, good night all.
Sound that shakes the ground. Sound that shakes the ground.
Well, I woke up on the lobby floor. Yeah, last night was some kind of war. I'm coming down like a waterfall. I check my phone, but you never call. Lost in the ceiling, caught up in the ceiling. I can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days, and I can't seem to let you go. You pulled me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these pain. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. It's the key, yeah. Can we be free? I know that I've been the enemy, but I've had my moment of gravity, moment of gravity. Lost in the ceiling, caught up in this feeling, I can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out.